Hello, everybody. I am Celia Milton. I am the wedding officiant of choice in North Jersey, and I'm here with Andrea Pertel, who is the wedding officiant of choice at the shore and in the middle of New Jersey and somewhat south as well.
Okay.
And you're officiant of choice there. And we are, we're getting into season, and we have people who are now writing their vows or should be thinking about writing your vows
hmm
for the middle of the summer and into the fall. A lot of people getting married, a lot of people writing vows. Um, so, and how do you do that? That blank piece of paper looks really scary, or that blank piece of paper. What am I like in the 50s? That blank screen is like it's looking at you, it's calling out to you and saying you need to write the second most important thing you've ever said to this person, and it's terrifying, but we're going to fix that for you.
Right.
We're
I
going to
can,
fix.
I don't, not all my couples write their own vows. They do
No.
not. At least 50% of my couples like to repeat their vows after me, whether
Yep.
they're the traditional ones or they choose ones that I offer them that are repeat after me. But a significant amount do still like to write their own vows, whether they write them in a little vow booklet and bring that, and then I get it from them when I arrive so I can hand it to them. Or, of course, I always advise them to separately email me their vows, and I can
Yeah.
have it printed out on a piece of cardstock
Mhm.
paper, ready to hand to them at the right, the appropriate time. I'm careful not to share them in advance.
Yeah.
And that way you don't have to worry about where they are. I have them
Where
on
they
a
are.
piece of paper. I'm going to start out by saying we are not reading them off our phones.
No, we're not. And we're not reading them off a piece of paper that you stuffed in your pocket. And now it looks like a CVS receipt. And your photographer is having a coronary
We're
because
going with either the vow booklet you bought
that's right.
online because you want to have those, or you email them separately
Right.
to myself or to Celia, and we will have them printed out and ready
Right.
for you.
Or you know what I love, especially for you, because you're at the shore, like with all those touristy kinds of towns, get postcards from Asbury Park and write them
Yeah,
on the back of the postcard. I used to do that when I was in the city a lot. I'd get like New York
I
City
love
postcards.
that.
Love
That's a
it.
great idea.
But they need to look nice because that your photographer is waiting for the moments in the ceremony that don't look like just us talking to you. And
Oh,
this is one of them.
you mentioned that, and I love this. I love this going back to the interview too that we did with Reverend Phil. Um,
Mm,
and he said it, and it's something we always do, and you can always tell a pro from like the friend when you guys are reading your vows to each other, unless I am backed up into a corner or
yeah,
inside an arch, I can't get away. I'm going to take a couple of steps
get
away.
away from you.
It's kind of
Yes.
awkward to be, it's not the three of us sharing vows.
No,
This
it's
is a
not.
moment for the photographer to capture you guys reading your vows. I'm going to hand you your vows, the
Yeah.
paper, the pretty paper, or the booklet, and I'm going to take like two steps back
Yeah.
and give you your moment.
Yeah.
And I just love that you mentioned that about the photographer. So
Yeah.
there are all those little details that
Little
are just,
things,
we know what to do.
maybe you want the microphone, maybe you don't.
Uh-huh.
Some of my people, I would say most of your people that write them want to say them in public. Most of my people who write them do not. I don't know what to attribute that
Yeah.
to, but
Yeah.
it's perfectly fine to do your, write personal vows and say them during your first look and or your
Yeah.
first touch if you don't want to do a first look per se, but
Yeah.
that's absolutely fine. And then we'll do a repeat after me or an I do vow in the ceremony because technically in New Jersey you don't even need to have vows, public vows, but I feel like people coming to a wedding kind of expect that they're going to see that.
Yeah, when I first started out and speaking to talking to Trenton and the clerk, there are two legal things that you say in a ceremony. And one of them is I do. You have to ask each other, do you take this person to be your spouse? Do you take so and so to be your husband, or do you take so and so to be your wife? And they have to answer, I do. And then you have to pronounce them. Everything
Yeah,
else is tradition. And
it's
there is
really up for
a flow
grabs.
to the
Yeah.
ceremony. And I know that we've done a podcast about the traditional flow, but nothing's traditional anymore, anyhow, right?
No,
We
really.
you personalize it however you like, and we have all kinds of options. So whether you're doing private vows with each other before your ceremony, or you have chosen to write your own vows and say them to each other during your ceremony, usually comes after the I do's. Once you've stated your pledge, then you share your vows with each other. We have some advice on writing your own vows.
Yeah, it should be easy. I think that the important thing to keep in mind, being the person who, the first thing that your venue director is going to say to me when I walk in is, how long is the
How long?
wedding?
How long?
And 200 to 300 words, what is that, 1 to 3 minutes per person saying
Right.
vows? Perfect.
That's one of the
Perfect.
biggest questions I get. And
Yeah.
I very rarely have anybody, I can only think of one situation where they had very long vows, but usually they keep it. The sweet spot is 1 to 2 minutes. And
Yeah.
you're right, Celia, that's about 150 to 300 words.
Yeah.
And, people say, are mine as long as my partner's? No, no, no. Just ask it. Just do the word
Yeah.
count on your document, easy breezy. Oh, mine's at 200. How are yours? Okay, they're within, 20 to 50 words. And always write them down, as you said.
Oh gosh,
Speaking
yes.
from the heart doesn't go well.
No. No, it doesn't.
Suddenly you get nervous. Even the most well spoken person who's used to speaking in public. This is your ceremony. You're looking at your partner that you're getting married to, and you want to read them. You don't want to just
Yeah.
from the heart.
Yeah.
And then also when you speak from the heart, you don't know how long you're talking. And I can tell you, 3, 4 minutes goes by quick when you're like reaching for those words.
Yeah.
It's
It
something
goes by quick for you, but it goes by it's not going quick for the people out there.
right.
Here's the
They
thing
say
too.
5 minute vows. Whoa,
Oh
that's
no,
too
no, no, no.
long.
No.
Remember, your guests love you, but they're
No.
in heels and suits, maybe sitting in the sun, maybe standing. They're waiting for cocktail.
They are searing vows spontaneously translates in their brains to there is wine coming up. And they are, and I find too,
They-
because our ceremonies are general, most of them are pretty personalized, that
yes.
many of the things that you might say to that person, you cannot tell your life story again in the vows. That's not what it's for. They are promises, and we have probably done that already. I had
Right,
somebody
right.
a couple months ago took out their entire story from the wedding that I wrote and put it into the vows,
Yeah,
which it made them very long and, excuse me, not as well written, because that's not what
right,
people
right.
do. That's what
It's
we do. And
it's
yeah.
the what you need to remember is short and meaningful is
Yes.
always better than long and repetitive. You want to keep that
Yeah.
repetition. So you've seen the ceremony that we've written for you. And if we've personalized it, you know what we're saying. So
Exactly.
short and meaningful is better than long and repetitive. Leave your partner wanting one more sentence, not wondering how many pages you have left.
When is this going to end? No, short and sweet is good. And, and be prepared for people to clap afterwards, because I always tell them, you want to clap, and they all do.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nice.
So we have how to write your vows in 4 simple steps, right?
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, 4 simple steps. So step one is the why, right? The
Right.
why. And that is starting by answering one simple question. Why do I love this person? Not just they're kind, they're
They're nice to
funny, they're
me.
my
We hope
best
so.
friend. Those are all wonderful qualities, but they're also things almost anyone could say.
Right.
You're their partner. You're in this romantic relationship with them. Instead, think about what makes your relationship unique, the why. Maybe it's,
Right.
for example, I knew I was falling for you the day you drove 2 hours just to help me after my car broke down. Or I love the way every stressful day somehow feels lighter the moment I hear you laugh. Specific beats generic every single
Every
time.
time. It
And
does.
this is also the perfect place to include an inside joke. Maybe your fiance insists they're always right. Maybe your partner can't load the dishwasher correctly. Maybe
Yeah,
one of you always steals the blankets, whatever. Those little moments remind everyone in the room that these vows belong only to the two of you. So make
it's true.
them not generic, specific, personalized.
Yeah.
So if you can, I hear people say things like, I promise to root,
Oh,
for
yeah.
for a specific team, but only when my team isn't playing. Or I promise to, and it always gets a laugh from everybody.
It's true. I did one of my people last month, which was June, with we all remember that basketball game. He said in his vows, I this is one he introduced his vows. This is one of the five most fabulous days of my life. The first, obviously, was when I met you. The second, third, and fourth are when my children were born. And the fifth, well, that was when the Knicks won. And the room went insane. It was like, but it said so much about him in one sentence. And yeah, it's like I love him because, you're kind and sweet. It's like, well, really, I hope so. It's kind of a low bar, and I feel like people's vows, they should be the promises to that you're going to promise to each other, but within those promises and the things you say, it should be a continuation of what your guests, how they're learning more about you. Because
Right, right. And they're sitting, they're listening to what you say. They're sitting on the edge of their seats. They love this part of the ceremony. And
yes,
yeah, so proof, and then you're gonna step two, you're gonna build on that proof. I mean, I'm sorry. Step one was why,
why?
and step two is proof. You've told everyone why you love them.
Mhm.
Now proof. Okay. Show us. Maybe tell one short story. Notice I said one.
Notice you said short.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, maybe a short memory, a trip, a random Tuesday where you did something that you're holding in your heart, that backs up what you just said. This is the evidence step. Without it, step one is just a compliment,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
With
it's
it,
true.
now we're starting with the vow.
Now I had a couple that I love, and I'm doing them in next month, I think. And he said, I I vow I will like I something like I will always appreciate how much courage you have. And I knew that when you ran in your stiletto heels across the street to your car that was being ticketed by a police person and managed to talk them out of giving you a ticket. I said, that is my woman. I love
Uh,
that.
so once you and I bet that got everybody laughing and smiling, and it's just a
Yes.
lighthearted but also very sentimental, and it's the human side of relationships, and it also reminds us to laugh at those things, to enjoy life together, right?
Yes. Yep.
Um, and then, as you said, vows. These are your vows. Step
Yeah.
three is make your promises. So we have the why, the proof, and now the promises, the actual vows, what you're committing to going forward. Um, and you should get specific here too, not just I promise to support you, but
Right.
I promise to be the one who remembers the small stuff, even when I'm tired. And again, 2 to 3 promises is plenty.
Mhm.
More than that, it loses its weight.
Yeah, I think I had a couple. They were hilarious. He promised that he would never get mad at her for not breaking down the Amazon boxes, and she promised to try to remember to break down the Amazon boxes. They hadn't seen it. The Amazon boxes must figure prominently in their relationship because it was hilarious.
I like that. I like that because I think that's something we can all relate to,
Yeah,
right?
that's a vow. I'm telling you, that is a promise that's going to be hard to keep. But you
Yeah.
try. You try.
I like that. I like to, and make it like instead of I promise to always make you happy, change it to, like you said, something, again, maybe even an inside joke. We're getting a peek into your life together. I promise to make coffee before
Yes.
you wake up in the morning. I know you've had a rough week, or I promise to keep choosing us, especially on the days that aren't easy. Because those promises, when you get a little personal about them and we get a peek into your life together, they're rooted in everyday life. So
They
they
are.
feel more
Yes.
realistic.
Yeah. It's
But you don't need 15 promises, two or three
no, two or
meaningful
three is plenty.
promises are
Yep.
plenty. After that, they do lose their impact. So again, quality beats quantity, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. True.
Yeah.
And it makes it more personal to you too. It makes it more distinctive because it's not like, I promise, I will love you until the end of time. Well, we were kind of assuming that, that you were going to try to do that. So, you know,
And it doesn't end with your promises.
no,
Now you need to end it with your future together as you look towards the future. So don't
yes.
stop with your vows.
One
Yeah,
line for the
the
future. That's all the future
closing,
gets.
the closing with a forward-looking line, a
That's right.
sentence about the future, what you're excited for, or a simple, I can't wait to keep doing life with you. Give the vows a clean ending instead of trailing off, or I can't wait to build our family together. I can't wait to grow old laughing beside you. I can't wait to see where this adventure takes us. It can be as simple as that. So, as your vows, your promises, a one little closing line, I can't
Mhm.
wait for more trips to whatever. You can, as much as you can personalize it, it's great. So it's the why, the proof, the promise, and the looking forward.
It's too
Four
bad. It's too bad.
simple steps.
It's too
Right.
bad they don't smell something, like act or pace or something like that. You just have to remember them. That's all. And if you really just cannot get started or cannot pull this out of you, I do have a Mad Lib vow generator that literally takes 8 words that you have to think of and put them in there, and you're good to go. And that may just start you into thinking in sideways directions, and you may end up with completely different things, but at least you'll have a start.
Right, right. And we will put on here on the podcast, the social media, we can put those 4 steps, or you can comment vows, and we will email you the 4 simple steps to writing your vows, and that will help you so much. I also want to say something, and I know this is controversial, but um, AI. And if you need to go to a chat GPT or an AI situation, just to do maybe just that one sentence, I think that to do something with all AI, it
No,
sounds AI. We haven't got past that robotic thing where
right.
AI sounds like AI. I often feel very lucky that, as you do too, we've been doing this for more than 15 years. I've been doing it 15
Yeah.
years, Celia longer. I have a great file kept so well with so much wording that I have saved, whether it's
Yeah.
readings or from readings or poems or things I've written myself. So I don't have to use AI like
Mm.
that. If you've met at a concert, ooh, I wrote a story about that once. I'm going to go to my file and build from that, and or things like that. Like you met in high school or on the beach, or we're having it on your anniversary date, or we're having it at the home you just built. I have a reading for a lot of that, so I don't have to go to AI. But I would stay away from, not only, I'm going to speak from the heart, but making it total AI. That's
No, don't do that. Everybody can
personalized, and
everybody can
everybody can
tell.
tell. Everybody can tell.
Yeah, everybody can tell. It's true. And you know what? Honestly, personal is better than perfect. This doesn't have to be perfect.
Well said.
It's, you're speaking from your heart. And, sometimes your heart just needs to get a little bit more specific, but it's and again, it's really another way of your guests getting a little insight into this relationship. When you think about, like, you think about an average wedding, some people know one person, some people know the other person, some people know both of you really well, and there are those people who just, I've had people come up to me afterwards and say, look, I just didn't, I'm like a plus one, or I'm a guest, or I'm a partner that isn't really familiar with the couple. I didn't know anything about them until you started to talk, and until they did their vows.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that makes people leave your wedding with a nice warm happy glow. And not to be self-serving, but if your friend is going to do it, the first thing they're going to do is go to AI, put in a couple of facts about you, get something, spit it out, and that's what they're going to use, and it
Yeah.
is not going to have the same effect. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can tell. And in regards to the vows, at the end of the day, your vows aren't a performance. I like how you
No.
said that they're supposed to be real, you know. They're
Yeah.
not a writing contest. They're not about impressing your guests. Your guests are going to be impressed with your real story, the laughter. If you follow these steps, you're going to have, you know, a little bit of laughter with a personal little personalization in there, and
Hmm.
then some heart. You know, people might get teary eyed. They're one of the few moments during your wedding where you get to tell your partner exactly why you're choosing them and
Yeah.
why you'll keep choosing them for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
As they say, the vows or the ceremony are the words they'll remember long after the flowers are wilted and the cake is gone.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and
It's
I
true.
think vows surrounded by a personalized ceremony, one that's personal, relaxed, and completely surrounded about centered around the couple's love story, and then have those personal vows in there. I think that's just a beautiful touch to it.
Yeah, it really is. And I think that it's really a gift. It's a gift to your partner. And I think sometimes I say this to my couples all the time because we start with a questionnaire. It's like, it's a time, the questionnaire and writing your vows, there are times that you really think intentionally about your partner. Especially if you've been together a long time. It's like you get up and of course you appreciate them every day and you love them, but it's like thinking that the deep thoughts about why you are there and why you love them and what they do that you appreciate. I don't get up every morning and say, gee, Michael is so fabulous. He's making breakfast for the dog, and it's part of the overall package. It's like about how much he cares about our dog, and it's great. But, these are to the ceremony as a whole and the vows as maybe the centerpiece of the ceremony are times that you can really I think it's really kind of soul searching and sometimes it's very surprising.
Right, right. Thinking about the vows, and this is again why you hire a professional. WV Productions, Will of WV Productions. He's a videographer. He's great. We've had him on twice. Check him out. And I love his prices. I love his work. But when couples have vow booklets, he
Mm.
always gets a video of them. He'll say, "Okay, I want you to take." Flip the pages through, and he always gets a video of them writing their vows. And
I like that.
pick
Yeah.
a sentence from the vows that you've already written. He doesn't obviously want you to write your vows right then, but
Right.
take a sentence, and then they have each couple writing, separately that
Hmm.
kind of before the ceremony footage. He did that at my son's wedding.
I like that.
And it was really beautiful. And they were
Yeah.
real sentences that they ended up saying to each other
Hmm.
during their ceremony. I thought that was really well thought out of him to do that. And that gave an extra impact because, of course, he put their voices on over that segment, when they were writing them. And if I'm explaining it correctly, but I like the way he does that. Yeah.
I thought that's a very sweet part. I like that. I like that part of the video. Yeah.
So, folks, if you're looking for someone to create a ceremony that's personal, relaxed, and completely centered around your love story, give Celia or myself a call. We cover all of New Jersey
We do.
between the two of us. Either one of us can help you. And if you would like us to send you the Write Your Vows in 4 simple steps,
You
just
just
comment
email us. Yeah.
vows on under Instagram, make a comment
Hmm.
vows, and we will either direct message them to you, or you can put your email in there and we'll email them to you. So we thank you for joining us today.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to think about. And yeah, let us know if you need if you need help or you need the printout, and we'll send it off to you.
All right. Well, happy planning.
Yes. Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now. Also, New Jersey wedding officiating services. We're up in North Jersey, and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes, yes.